Okay, so this is an advanced technique to target the quads, so the front of the hip, the quadricep, the rectus femoris, that's one of the quads, up into the hip flexor area, the TFL. All of these muscles can be influenced in a static way with self-treatment, but also in an active way, which is kind of the next level. So the way that you can do this, you can either use a foam roll or a lacrosse ball. A foam roll, both of these are quite aggressive. A foam roll is significantly easier than a lacrosse ball. So depending on what you've got at home, or also what you can manage, might depend on what, obviously it's going to influence what you use. So I'll show you with the foam roll. The technique is the same, but I'll show you with the foam roll because it's probably easy to see really. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by putting the foam roll underneath your front leg. Now you can start wherever you want, just for ease of the discussion really. I'm just going to put it under the front of the hip. To start with, my other leg is out of the way. So this would be the same setup as the static, and I'm just going to find an area that feels a little bit tender. So let's say that area feels tender for me. I could do my static technique where I'm going to hold for 30 seconds to a minute, but the active technique, the slightly more aggressive version, quite simply, I would from here bring my heel towards my bum as far as I can, and then lower back down. The foam roll stays in exactly the same place, but what I'm doing now essentially is stretching that quadricep muscle, the front of that thigh, while this foam roll is pressing into that tender piece of tissue. So I would do that up to 10 times, ideally 10 times, to really work on that area. So let's say that's number 10. Then what I would do is I would roll, find another tender point, so that's quite tender, again hold there, and then repeat the process. So bringing that heel as close to the bum as possible. Now it might be that you can only go, let's say it feels so painful you can only go to there, no problem, that's where you go to, come back down. You work to a range you can manage, but the aim eventually is to go as far as you possibly can, so you really are what we call flossing these tissues. Same again, up to 10 reps, and then move on. You can go anywhere from the top of the hip, down the front of the leg, just not onto the knee itself. You could change the angles as well, but just don't go too wide on this technique. Really focus down the middle mainly for that rectus femoris. Ball technique would be exactly the same, it's just a little bit more